Good morning, everybody. I'm going to be here giving my review of the article I just read, Body Ritual Among the Narmaka by Miner, for topic 2. I'll give my reaction depicted from American culture. So, we as Americans are very accepting towards different things. I feel like we're very open to having different type of religions, different type of beliefs, at least where I come from in California, and then I'm in the military currently, so it's pretty open for the most part. People do a lot of different things, come from all walks of life, so it wasn't too different as far as accepting, as far as the rituals and the beliefs, a lot different than I've experienced. I have experienced soldiers from Africa that have actually have markings on their face and do traditional tribal beliefs and even go to church in their own setting as such in America. So I have dealt with some very foreign type of religions, either if they're from Ghana or from Kenya, but nothing to that in depth that I read. So it was a little interesting. I didn't think anything ill will about it. It just was very different from my day-to-day life here. It says take 2 minutes to describe my communication pattern. Okay, so the rituals that I thought were very interesting was like the body dysmorphia that I felt like they were trying to depict. So if somebody was too fat, they'd fast them. Somebody was too light, they would make them heavy. Not too different. I felt like it was really different when I seen body shaping where women's breasts were enlarged or they were made smaller. I feel like that's more on the extreme side. But if it's magic that they believe in, I mean, that's something that, we have came to proven, but we haven't came to proven a lot of stuff. So people still believe in Christianity. Our school's Christian. There's still a lot of stuff that we haven't explained. So it's not out the window. It's just not current with modern beliefs currently. As far as communication patterns of these rituals and how they're connected in like U.S. culture, I feel like even though it's magic and it's trying to change something, in American culture we view this similar values as far as like people that are fat do want to get smaller, people that are skinny do want to get bigger, and it does make sense that they believe that stuff like this can change with magic, or we in America, most of America, feel like this is changed with like dietary supplements, exercise, and we proved it with science. Like some of these communication and values are still shared the same way. And it says next, spend 1 to 2 minutes on patterns of rituals that changed throughout history. So I've been a lot of places in the world. I've been to almost all of Eastern Europe, and I've been to the Middle East, which I felt like are very different from America. I've even been to Asia, where it's pretty ventured off from American beliefs. And practices and patterns that I've seen throughout history that have changed is just like the belief system of like a traditional household, let's just say, traditional women, traditional men, how men make their income, blue collar work, and seeing women be traditional housewives change into like modern day, hardworking women, and men transitioning from blue collar work to white collar work pretty seamlessly throughout the time frame, as far as like practice and communication patterns, rituals. I've seen a significant change in religion. I feel like religion has taken a very big toll as far as like people not caring about religion. I have soldiers in my platoon that we have over 100 soldiers, and I only think maybe 5 of them go to church. And then when they say they go to church, people kind of give them those weird stares like, "Oh, you go to church? That's crazy." because back in the day it was very common, in the early 70s and even the 80s and 90s. It was very common for you to go to church on Sundays with your family. If I go to when we were in the Middle East, been in the Middle East a few times, they pray, multiple times a day, no matter what they're doing, and they keep that, but it has changed, in ways. Not in all places in the Middle East. There's still some places in the Middle East that are very traditional and will not budge. But there has been places like Jordan where I have seen women not being so as covered as they usually would be, and accepting Christianity a lot more. I've seen women in regular clothing and it'd be okay in places like Jordan, in places like Kuwait, but places like Syria, Iraq, even in Saudi Arabia, I've seen very covered women, and like men for sure being like super traditional. And it says, finally, spend 2 minutes sharing brief educational of these beliefs, American culture, when evaluating the change as beneficial, detrimental. My evaluation of the changes as beneficial in U.S. culture stand as nothing really. Like, when I think of my evaluation of changes as beneficial or detrimental, detrimental in a way, I feel like a lot of the times we can see things in a detrimental light. Like, things aren't as detrimental as they might seem. The economy is probably more detrimental than a culture shift. The culture shift will happen regardless. The culture shift is going to happen throughout time. And the way to not be a crabby old man is by accepting that things are going to change. I've learned in the military that culture will change from 2016 to 2025 when I was now. I can't say or do the things that I could have done in those times where we were getting fed water through a water hose on the floor, and now we're not doing much of that at all. So culture shift's going to change, just like beliefs. I don't think that this religion is a bad religion at all. I don't think that they want to be bothered, and I feel like they shouldn't be bothered. My goal is not to make people believe what I believe. I feel like I can kind of relate to this when we were doing this culture shift in Iraq back in OIF 1, back in 05. We were trying to make the Middle East concept be a more of a Western feel and pushing Western values on Middle Easterns, and they did not like it. And to this day, they do not like us. Not all of them. Some of them are very accepting towards us, but we are the bad guys there. We are people that came and tried to shake the culture shift way too fast, and it just has to come naturally. And I don't believe their values were bad. Like, do they have more extreme values in some sense? Sure, everybody would think so. But that's how passionate they are about their own religion. And I don't personally believe that these people that are practicing on their own and living within their means are disrupting or causing a disturbance to anybody. So why be bothered? If they want to do this until 2200, that's fine. Like, I have no issue with it, and I feel like it should be it definitely should be brought to light that they want to be left alone, and they should be left alone. This concludes my video, and I hope that everybody has a good day, and see you guys later.